Hey, good evening and welcome to this Motzei Shabbos edition of Daf Just Daf It with Ben Sion Lang. Here we are on a Motzei Shabbos that for most Jews in the world, especially the ultra-Orthodox, the Haredi population, is mixed with a little bit of mourning, a lot of mourning for some people. The Petira, the sudden death of Rav Chaim Kanievsky on Friday afternoon. It's going to be a big Levaya tomorrow, B'nai Brak. Um, Hopefully this shir, tomorrow's shir, we dedicate Lilu Nishmaso. His neshama should be Sorah B'Srora Chaim, Srura B'Srora Chaim, and I don't remember having any personal interaction. I never actually met Rav Chaim Kanievsky in person. I did see him a couple of times. I think he spoke somewhere. I was there. I saw him in person and um, tell a quick story. I heard this afternoon about him. Someone who did have a personal experience with him. There's a fellow here who's friends with my wife's family. He's Baal Tshuva. He went to see Rav Chaim Kanievsky, I guess many years ago when he was becoming a Baal Tshuva. He asked Rav Chaim if he had any Eitzah for him, and I don't know if he asked him. Rav Chaim said, "Grow your beard and don't cut it." So this guy was a Baal Tshuva. He wasn't even from. You know, he's a lawyer. He actually works, I think, maybe for the government. And he works. He works a lot with secular people here in Israel. He grew a long beard. He's not a rabbi. He had a long beard, all because Rav Chaim Kanievsky told him not to shave it. So one time he was by the barber. His wife said, and the barber said, "Okay, listen, it's a long beard, but at least in the side area, make it nice a little bit, trim it a little bit." So he's thinking about it. He's like, "I don't know." Rav Chaim told me. So what happened? So he's like, "All right, so you can trim it a little bit." So right as he takes the scissors out and starts to trim it, uh, the light uh, the light explodes, or the light just breaks. The light on top of their heads just breaks. Um, and when he saw that, both the barber and this fellow said, "You don't mess with Rav Chaim Kanievsky." So, but again, it would bother his mother a lot, this Baal Tshuva, and his wife probably told me also she doesn't like the beard. But he wasn't going to go against Rav Chaim Kanievsky, so he was even afraid. He didn't want to go to Rav Chaim Kanievsky because not only Rav Chaim Kanievsky told him to grow a long beard, he also had him change his name. His name was Harel or something like that. He may give him a different name. I don't know Harel is. I don't know what kind of name Harel is, but he gave him a different name. He told him so. He's white. He said his wife describes him as being his face being white from going near even Bnei Brak. He didn't want to meet Rav Chaim or someone related to Rav Chaim in the street. He's afraid what he was going to say. A new couple is going to take on himself. But so so what happened was he sent an emissary, he sent a shliach to ask him if his mother wanted him to trim it a little bit. He got a message from Chaim. Chas v'chalila, that's what he said. 2 words. Chas v'chalila, to trim his beard. And to this day, this man didn't come here this afternoon because he wasn't feeling well. He has a really long beard. He's a lawyer. He's an international lawyer, but he has a long beard. Um, his secular colleagues are a little baffled, not only by the beard, but the fact that he has a kosher phone also, and he only really has WhatsApp for business. He only is allowed certain apps. He doesn't have access to Google on his phone. Only when he goes to the office, he has the internet available in his office. Outside of his office, even on his phone, mobile phone, does not have access to the internet. And he works for a high com for the government, I think, and international law. So it's kind of interesting that this profound effect that Rav Chaim had. To the point, this person, He's a really normal, regular person. He is white in the face to even go to Bnei Brak. His son wanted to meet him. His son just turned bar mitzvah. He wanted to go. His mother had to accompany him to Bnei Brak to go see Rav Chaim. And when his son went into Rav Chaim, normally here I would insert a joke and I would say something that's not really true, but I'm going to say what happened. Eventually, after like 5-6 hours trying to get in, he got in, and Rav Chaim said to him, "Bracha v'atzlacha." He didn't say anything like grow a beard or something like that. Not that he can grow a beard at this point. He's only bar mitzvah. All right. Anyway, let's start. I wanted to tell you that all my Kedusha, I believe, are really good, but tonight I have really not stumbled. I really thought about this for a while, for a good 20-25 minutes. I was deliberating over this Yevamos ben Sion Chiddush about the nature of Yibum, how it pertains, how the mitzvah matir is the Isser of Eishasach in general, and specifically to our Mishnah over here, which talks about Yibum Makom Kares. And based on our Gemara today's number 12, Yud Beis, Daf Yud Beis, I really believe I have the key to unlocking the mystery of Yevamos. It is probably the best Chiddush I've ever said, and maybe the best Chiddush ever in the world. So you really do not want to miss this. You really, really do not want to miss this Chiddush. Tune in to Yevamos ben Sion. It'll be a separate installment. I'm trying to get it under 8 minutes. Within 8 minutes, hopefully I can do it. But it's a really important Chiddush for Maseches Yevamos, and it really opens up all of Maseches Yevamos, and maybe all of Shas. So you want to tune in for that. Let's get started with the Daf Yomi portion of tonight's learning. On the bottom of Yud Aleph Yud Beis, the Gemara says, the first wide line, Amar Reb Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yochanan Boy. Rabbi Yochanan asked the following question: Amachzer grushaso mishanises. Say someone, right? He divorces his wife, and she gets remarried to someone else. She was married to somebody else, and he's machzer grushaso. Now the Torah says you're not allowed to do it. Acharei asher hutama, you can't go remarry that wife. He did the wrong thing. He had another wife also, and then he died childless. Sarasa Mahu. Now his paternal brother, is he allowed to marry the Sarah? Why don't you ask about the Grusha herself? For sure, she's definitely Asr. Damriam Kavahomer, but Mutrla Asura. Asra Kolshka and Mutrla, the original husband, she originally was Mutter to the first husband. There was no Isra Eshazach for the first husband. He's Asr. But Asr law, where there's an Isra of Eshazach, right? Normally, there's an Isra Eshazach. Yibum Matir. This is going to be the discussion, this whole discussion of all the limits in Yevamos. But Isra of Yibum, the mitzvah of Yibum Matir is the Isra of Eshazach. So, but there is an Isra Eshazach. So Kol Shekain, Asr law, the brother of Kol Shekain, can we buy Lisa Rasa? The Sarah I'm asking about, me Alim Kalachomer the Milchi Sarah. Is the Kalachomer strong enough to say that the Sarah is Potter from Chalitza and Yibum? Although, or maybe you could do Yibum. Rav Nachman, you tell Masni Hacher. That's asked the following the question in a different way. I'm Rabbi Chia bar Abba and Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan asked, not Amas Grushaso Mishnitis Mahu. He actually asked about the Grusha. Amalei Rabbi Amit Tibayel the Chazarasa. Why don't you ask about the Sarah? That responded, Sarasa lo kami bayali. I'm not asking about the Sarah. The lo alam kal v'chomer milchi Sarah. The Sarah for sure is mutter to the brother, because the kal v'chomer only answers the Grusha. Can't ask the Sarah. El kiyamayli he gufa. What about the Grusha herself? Mine. Miyalim kal v'chomer the makom mitzvah. Although is the kal v'chomer strong enough to push away the mitzvah of Yibum or not? Maybe he could do a mitzvah of Yibum, even though, because for him it's not machzer grushaso. Amar lei. So on top of Yud Beis and Al Tani Suah, we have a brisa which seemingly should resolve one or both of these questions. Achas Ksheir of Achas Psul is a Mishnah on Daf Mem Dalet. A man who's a Yavam has two wives faulted. One is Ksheira, one is Psula. If he wants to do Chalitza, he does Chalitza to the apostle lady, the one that's usher to him. To the Ksheira. My Ksheira, my Psula. So like we had on Yud Aleph, the same discussion. What is the intention of Ksheira and Psula? Ksheira Alma, if we're talking about, let's say, Isurim for a Kohen, Isurim in general, Ksheira Alma, that she is Kasha Alma, she has no Isra in the Kuna, she's not a Grusha. Psula alman. Psula would be someone who's usher to the kohanim. Kevan lidei chazer. He's not a kohen. My nafkalaminai. What does it matter? Why does the Mishnah have to teach that he should do yibum to the kshera and chalitza to psula? You can do yibum with either one, chalitza with either one. Elav kshera le psula le must be talking about a case where it actually has ramifications for him. Umayni, what's the case? Master grushaso, right? The case is where the brother is inheriting. He's doing the nefila of the Yevama is a woman who his brother who just died, returned after she got remarried, which is asura. So, and what does the Mishnah teach? If he's miyab, wants to be yibam, miyab the kshera, he can miyabim the kshera, meaning the sarah. He can't miyabim the psula. So at least you see at least one of the questions that sarah is mutaras. The Gemara says, "Look, kshera." And the Gemara says, "No, it's not talking about maser grushaso. Really, it's talking about look, kshera alma psula alma. It's talking about the case of he's not a kohen and." Talking about a kosher for kuna and apostle for kuna. The Kamras came on l'dilei chazia might not call mina. Why do we care? Why is the Mishnah teaching you that he should do even to the kshera and chalisa psula? It doesn't have a ramification for him. Mishum de Rav Yosef. It is important for Rav Yosef. The Amar Rav Yosef kanshan a Rebbe lo yishpachad meiboro b'acherim tzrichin lahem. Even though it has no ramifications for him, but for other kohanim, it does have ramifications because if he would go ahead and do chalitza to the kshera, so he ruins that woman for other kohanim because just like a drusha. Yes, for a kohen, a chalutza midraban is also also for a kohen. So therefore, we say if you do yibum to the kshera. Do chalitza, do it to the grusha because she's already psula to the gemara. It's not ruining anything for other kohanim. Tashma. So let's try to prove it from a different paisa. Amachsa grushasa mishni says. He v'sarasa choletzes. She and the sarah do chalitza in this case that we were talking about. So the Gemara says, "He v'sarasa you don't need chalitza for both. The chalitza is only on one woman. Once you do chalitza on one woman, that exempts the other woman. You only have the opportunity to yibum on one woman. Chalitza on one woman. Ele'ema ohio sarasa. So you see that you can do chalitza either on her or on sarah. Which shows that it's possible to do yibum on one of them, right? You could do chalitza. Well, actually, it seems I would say over here that it seems you can do chalitza on either one of them. Shows you have to do chalitza, but it doesn't allow you to do yibum. So you see, you can't do yibum. They should have said you could do yibum. So when I say lab through taritzachi, once we're already fixing it up this way. He choletz sarasa o choletz omsi abemes. So you can say, we'll say he has that the grusha she has to do chalitza, but the sarah could actually be yabim. So it could be a proof, or could be a way out to say that there is yibum shayach for the sarah. So the Gemara is really inconclusive. We'll see on Yud and Beis. The Gemara actually gives a more definitive ruling, which I think is the halacha. It will be relevant to Yom Ben Sion. Amar Shmuel saras mima'enes asura. A saras mima'enes is asura. No, mima'enes is a girl who was married off by her mother or brother. Her father died. She's not old enough to get married, and she gets married midrabanan. She's a katana. She's not of age yet. She's less than 12. She hasn't hit 12 years old. She's not about mitzvah. She doesn't have simanim. She doesn't have two pubic hairs. So that's manas asura. Her sarah, meaning if her husband dies, the husband that she's married to midrabanan dies, he has another wife. Sarah, she's asura. She also, there's no yibum or chalitza by her. So goes Laman. That's Shmuel says. Laman ilem ol achim. He'll tell me the other brothers. Hashta he gufa sharia. He herself, the ma'enes is mutter to the other brothers. The Amar Shmuel mian abazem mutaras bazeh. If she does mian to one yavam, let's say there's three brothers, three surviving brothers. One brother does mian, she's mutaras to the other brothers. That's a mufurish ahetra that Shmuel says later on. Certainly the Sarah is mutter to the other brothers. Al Dide. Let's be talking about to her, because once she does mian to the yavam, so he can't marry her because she does mian, right? She doesn't want to marry him. Why is the menes she's mutadach and la'avda b'humaisa? Sarah nami la'avda b'humaisa. The reason that the menes herself is much to the other brothers because she didn't refuse them. The Sarah also didn't refuse this guy. The menes did, or the Sarah didn't. So my answer is the reason of Shmuel Gzera Mishum Sarah's Bito. The Manas. it's all Xera because Saras Bita Menes, because let's say uh, the daughter that fell to you for Yibum is actually your daughter. Your daughter married somebody else. Now, married your brother in a Durabanan fashion. So, as far as Bita Menes, as far as Bita Menes Miasira, but the whole, so the Gemara starts, is there a problem as far as Bita Menes in the first place? It says in the Mishnah, if it was done miyun, so the sorrows are mutter. The miyun b'man, who should do miyun? With the miyun b'bal, and one of the cases was bito in the Mishnah. That's one of the cases of the Yevamos was a bito, his daughter. Yilim with the miyun b'bal, that she did miyun with a husband, hainu grusha. If she did miyun originally with her husband, with your brother, right, before he died, that's the same thing as a grusha, right? They're just separate. Grusha ends the marriage. A miyun ends the marriage also. A lot of yavam. Once we talk about she didn't do miyun to the husband, she did miyun to the yavam. Olam babal. So you see, we're talking about it. That the Mishnah says before that it could happen. So where it says olam babal, really no. The Mishnah, when it said that, was talking about where she does miyun to the husband. Trey gavne gerushin. It's two types of gerushin. One gerushin midarais and one's gerushin midarabana. Maishna kimina babal. What's the difference? The akrinu l'nisuin. Kimina biyavam nami nisuin kamai ka'akra. If she does nisuin at the yibam, right? All the yavam doing is taking the place of his deceased brother. So he's basically the zika, the connection between the two is basically coming from the original marriage that she had to the brother. So when she's mama'enes in the yavam, she's being oker her original marriage to the first brother. If a woman does miyun to the husband, so she's mutter to his father. If she does miyun to the avam, she's asura. Alma mishas tefila nearest kalasa. Achram mishas tefila nearest kirsaras bito. So the Gemara explains, based on Ram Beracheskel, it depends how it looks. It looks bad. There's a difference, really, even though she's being oker, the nisuin of her brother, but really of her original husband. But once she falls to the yavam, it looks there's a zika. It looks like they're married already. So it looks like they're married. So therefore, Ram Beracheskel teaches if the mina is done after by the yavam, she can't marry the father because it looks like the daughter-in-law. It looks like the father is marrying his daughter-in-law. So near this Kesaras Bito, here also a regular Ma'enes, Saras Ma'enes, were concerned because of Saras Bito, because it looks like it could be a case of Saras Bito. Any Saras Ma'enes is a Xera because it's included in Xera of Saras Ma'enes Bito, because when she's mind the Bito, it looks like there's a connection, a zika between him and his daughter, the Yavam and his daughter, which is forbidden. So therefore, it looks like that. We know when you have a zika to the first Mishnah, right? The Sarah of the Erva patters the Sarah also. Therefore, she's Asura. There's no, whether you need Chalitza or not is not discussed over here. I would assume you need Chalitza, it's only the Rabbanon. Amar Rav Asi, Sarah's islandness, Asura. A new case, Sarah's islandness. This is also mentioned in our Mishnah. We'll see exactly how you resolve this. Sarah's islandness, your brother, the deceased brother, was married to an island. It's a woman who doesn't mature. She doesn't develop the simonim of a regular woman. She's 25 years old. She doesn't have breasts. She has a thick voice. She talks like a man. She can't give birth. She's usher. Even the Sarah of the island is usher. I mean, there's no even Rachalidas. The pasuk says that when they do yibum, the bechor, the child that's born out of the new yibum, asher teled pral islandess, means that the woman who is going to do yibum, he's going to do yibum with, she has to have the capability of giving birth, to have a son to remember her husband that died. So you see that shedem raya bechor asher teled pral islandess she'en yoledes. How we explain this is going to be a machlokes in Rav Asi and Rava. This is because the discussion of Imam Ben Sion Meisar of Sheisha Shosha Achin Nisuin Shalosh Nashim Nachrios. Later on, we have a brisa which says 3 brothers are married to 3 women that have no relation. They're not sisters. No related to that. Made echad mehen. one brother dies. Asa Basheni Maimar. The second brother, the second oldest brother, he does Maimar. Maimar is prelude to the Yibum. Yibum is Bia. If he wants to do Kiddushin, the Rabban Institute, he's supposed to do Maimar. He's supposed to give her money or a star or something like that in order to make it more like a regular marriage. You don't just jump in and do Bia. You have to do Maimar first. So that's biblically, that's not Midoraisa. It's not worth anything. Midorabbanan, it creates more of a Zika. Umeis, and then the second brother died. Hare elu cholzevol misyamos. Both her and the wife, this woman who was subject to Yibum twice, and the Sarah, the second husband, cholzevol misyamos. They do chalitz, not yibum. Shnemar umeis echad mehem yivama yavo aleo. It's the Rabbanan darshan. They made an asmachta darshan this pasuk. Well, the Yevama died. The Yavam comes on her. Mi sha'aleh zikas Yavam echad lo zikas shnei Yevamim. It has to be singular over here. It has to be a connection to two Yavam. This woman was connected to, right? She was originally the wife of the first husband, so she has a connection from the first husband. And then the second brother did Maimer, so therefore he has a connection. It's almost like Midrabbanan, because they're like they're married already. So therefore, when she falls to the third, when the second brother dies, now the third brother is taking this wife who has connections to two brothers, so that is not a case of Yibum. We don't do Yibum in that case. Because Ani Allah Amar of Yosef Zui Saras Ashes Achma Av Sheisr Nafila Garamash Lamatzinu Bechad Taru Kula Kagon Zos. This case is special because they're going to see it's Derabanan over here. Ashes Achma Av is normal case of Yibum, has to be eternal brother. The Nafila, because she comes from two brothers at Aser. So the Gemara Darshan Zuhi Lamute Mai. What is Zui? It comes to exclude what? Lamute Saras Islandess. The Shar must be coming to exclude Saras Islandess. Even though this woman is Aser, the Sar of an Islandess is Mutter. The Gemara says, "Lo, Lamute Saras Islandess is Asira." No, actually, Zui is to tell me that Saras Islandess is actually Aser. My Zui the Isra Nefila Garmla Sarasa Baya Chalitza. In this case, it's only the Rabbanan Shnei Yevam, so you need Chalitza. Islandess Afila Chalitza Lo Baya. An islandess, when you're married to an islandess, you don't even the Sarah doesn't need chalitza. My time, had the rice, had the rabbana. There is a pasuk, asher teileit. So therefore, there was no. It was eishes achshel b'makom mitzvah. Let's just say this simply. It was eishes achshel b'makom mitzvah. When your brother is married to an islandess, so that's eishes achshel b'makom mitzvah because asher teileit. It's not possible to have yibum in that case. When she falls to you, there's no. It's eishes achshel b'makom mitzvah. The Sarah is also asura. But here it's the rabbanan, so therefore you need chalitza. So Gemara says, the Gemara has a question. Our first Mishnah says if one of them was an islandess, the Yavam was an islandess, the Sarah is mutter. After we said the Sarah is aser. There's a lo kasha hikirba, kasha lo hikirba. The case that Rav Asi was talking about Asura, that's talking about where the original husband, your brother married her knowingly that she was an islandess. He agreed to marry her. So it wasn't a toes, it wasn't mekach toes. Our Mishnah was talking about where's mekach toes. He didn't realize she was an islandess. So there he found out afterwards. So it's a mekach toes. If you get married to a woman and then you realize, oh, she's not really a woman, or she doesn't display the signs of a woman, she can't have children, so he didn't want to get married to her. So therefore, there's no marriage at the beginning. Like our Mishnah says Nimsu was found out. It sounds like not that he knew, but it was unwittingly, and therefore the first marriage was absolved, like Gerushin. So therefore the Sarah is mutter. The case Rasi was talking about where he knowingly married an islandess, therefore it was Eishach Shalom Makom Mitzvah, and just like an Erva is Aser, so therefore the Sarah is also Aser. Potter ben Chalitzah and a Yibum Shmamina. That's Ravasi. Rava says no. Hilchasa Sarah's islandess muteres. The Afilu Hekirba, even if he knows she's an islandess, it's still the Sarah is muter. Afilu Sarah's Bito islandess. Even not only that, even if the islandess is his daughter, right? Is the daughter of this brother who's now the remaining alive. His brother married his daughter, and then he died, and she's both his daughter and both an islandess, and he knew, in which case not only been erva, Bito is an erva, but still the Sarah is mutter. We'll explain this in English. What about the Mishnah? The Mishnah seems to imply only if you didn't know. Tani shahayu. Just say shahayu. Not that you have to say shahayu. Nimsu wasn't the daf. It wasn't said in a specific way to exclude a case shahayu. It includes it also. Also, Ravin Amar Rabbi Yochanan Achas Saras Menes V'Achas Saras Anis V'Achas Saras Machzik Rushaso Kulan Mutaros. He gives a definitive ruling in a lot of cases we've been talking about. Rabbi Yochanan. whether Sharas Menes, what we just said before, Shmuel says that the Sarah of Menes is Asura, Mishum Saras Bito Menes. Lakan Saras Alan, Saras Alan is Rav Asi just said before, she's Asura. Lakan Saras Nan so they're all Mutara. That was a discussion on Daf It Aleph. Masik Rishaso, the Saras Mutter or not. Rav Yochanan gives a definitive ruling, they're all Mutter. To explain this last one, how the Gemara knew Saras Masik Rishaso is Mutter, that is also an addendum in Yom Ben Sion, and discuss that. It's part of it. Tanya Rav Bibi Kamei Rav Nachman. We go back to our Mishnah. Shalosh Nashim Misham Shos B'moch. 3 women are allowed to use a moch. What a moch is, I would say it's a condom. Katana Milberis Umenika. Normally you're not to use a condom, you're not to destroy semen. But when there's a sakana, then the Chazal allows you to do it. Katana Milberis Umenika. If the woman who you're having a relation with the katana Shem Tisaber or Shem Atamos. If you're having a relation with the katana, right, a woman can get married before she bat mitzvah. So if she has a child, it's her stomach won't to handle it, she'll die. Milberes Shem Atase Ubra Sandal. If she's already pregnant, she has to use a condom. They have to use a condom because it's going to ruin the child inside if she conceives a second time. Minika Shema Timol Yevamos. And if she's nursing, because then maybe she'll become pregnant. And when anyone knows that when your wife is pregnant and she's nursing, she's getting less milk now. She's not going to be able to nurse anymore. He might die. He's not going to like the formula. What's considered a ktana? From 11 years old in one day, 12 years in one day. Meir says if she's less than that, then she's not going to conceive. She's not going to have a child less than 11 years old. More than that, she's not going to die. They don't allow using a condom at all. Even though these are possible, it's like Hashem will take care of it. Hashem watches simple people. You have to be simple in these cases. Trust in Hashem. Hashem will watch over you. From the fact, the lashon of the Brisa, according to Meir, she might get pregnant and die. Below Mesa, it sounds like she might get pregnant, and she might not. She might get pregnant. She might die. It sounds like she get pregnant. She also could live. If that's so, it would be that it's possible to have your mother-in-law do mian. Mian is only maktana. The Mishnah says not like the Mishnah says you can't say by your mother-in-law that she does mian. It's a weird case. They're talking about she's doing mian. She's your mother-in-law. That means that you're married to a girl who she's 11 years old and she had a daughter, and you marry the daughter when she's less than a year old. It's interesting you're marrying a girl who's less than a year old, but it's possible. You can marry a father can marry his daughter off at any age, and she can do mian, which is ochtana. So the Gemara says the aim of Hashem is doesn't mean to say she might get pregnant and maybe die. She might get pregnant and she definitely will die. Before 11 years old, she's not going to become pregnant. Between 11 and 12, she'll die and the child will die. After 12 years old, she'll live and the child will live. But then it is true. So, Aim Chamos, Shnusu, Ayla, Sheminu, Shekfar Yaldu. Rabbi Shmuel says, he says the reason is that you can't say it's not because it's not possible. It's because she gave birth, right? So she gave birth, she can't do mian anymore. Once she gives birth, that's already considered like she became a gedola and she can't do mian. Once you're a gedola, you can't do mian. Really is talking about the intended to say maybe she'll become pregnant, maybe she'll die. It's possible. The explanation we just said before is that children is like it's in place of having pubic hairs. Some say it's even better. What does it mean? Why does one the Ikadamar say it's better? The feel Behuda Damar Hashachar the Banim Moda. It's machlokes becomes 2 pubic hairs. It is godless being 12 years old and having 2 pubic hairs. You don't need not 2 pubic hairs is not good enough. You actually have to have most of the genital area covered by hair, the pubic hair, and not just two hairs. But he's moda that if she gave birth to a child, she's pshar gdola. Even if Yehuda would be moda. So on the top of Yud Gilman Al, Rav Zvid Amar ein banim below simonim. Rav Zid says a little differently. If she had a child, so we could assume she had simonim. It's not that the banim make her a gdola; it's that we could assume that she had pubic hairs v'nivdo. So the Gemara says, why don't you check it? You can check that. Chashina shema nishru. No, because they're concerned because even if she doesn't have, it's not going to help because we'll just assume it fell out. We assume she had, it fell out. Whereas there's a machlokas in Mesachas Nida whether we suspect maybe they fell out or not. We assume she's a gdola even when she doesn't have it. There's a mandamar says that we're not choshesh. If she doesn't have it, she doesn't have it. When you give birth, it's a tremendous traumatic experience. So because of the pain of Leda, even the one who says we don't usually assume that they fell out, if she gave birth, we assume they fell out. So she's for sure a gedola. I hope you enjoyed tonight's shir. Stay tuned for Ian Ben Sion, maybe the best Ian shir you'll ever hear.